Shakia, it's your boy Fist, and that is us, bringing another great edition of Call of Duty for me to you, because that's what I do. It is the weekend. I finally get some time, boom, 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 to rhyme. Nah, I'm just kidding. To finally post a video and talk about Call of Duty. You know, it used to be my favorite game. I still like it. There's still something there. She's still a diamond in the rough, I hope. I don't know. But I just like to give you all my thoughts on it. Obviously, you know and I know Call of Duty's right around the corner. It's August. You're starting to get that itch again. The news is going to drop on multiplayer. Yeah, we're finally going to know what's going on with this game. Is it going to be a flop? Are people going to accept the new format? And there's so much going on. I've been reading. I'm sure there's people already playing. I mean, obviously, the social stratosphere and how, you know, industries jump on people who have a lot of followers and Twitter bots and stuff like that. They jump on those guys assuming that they are legit. And those guys get to play the game early. And then Gamescom, everybody's going to get to play the game. So you're going to start seeing a lot more leaked news and information on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, are you going to like it? That's the question. I'm reading it at face value. And, you know, what I'm reading is that there's going to be a cloak in the game. You know, the more and more I read about it. Obviously, the exosuits are a total change on the Call of Duty franchise, which is you're jumping and moving and doing all kinds of Superman shit. That's fine. You know, I don't mind that. But as the core of the definition of who you are, what Call of Duty is a military modern day shooter. And now you're taking the Call of Duty controls and you're throwing it on a different game. And I'm assuming, I haven't played it, so I don't know. But if it's a bunch of features that is not a military shooter, I mean a classic military shooter, like, you know, and I don't want to beat a dead horse and say, oh, Call of Duty 4 was the best. I'm just saying that Call of Duty 4 is a modern shooter, military shooter that everybody can relate to. And you're starting to predict the future by saying this is the way soldiers are going to be. Yeah, I mean, it's fun for video games, but how much of your core audience can relate to that? How much are you, I mean, you're taking a huge, Sledgehammer is taking a huge gamble. I don't know about cloaking and super suits and jumping all around. The thing about it is this. A, your core audience, and we're going to find out more the first week of August. Your core audience, because at Gamescom, they're going to release all this information. It's in Europe and all that stuff. So you're going to see this. You're going to see multiplayer. And they've been dropping all stuff about how multiplayer is going to be. But your core audience is and always will be, and the reason they bought this game. And this is what I know. This is what I know about, you know, the history of gaming. Being on, you know, gaming my whole life, being on these forums, being in the social stratosphere. This is what I know about gaming. Because the one thing about history is history always repeats itself. I know that in the past that Battlefield was a great game and they changed it too much and it turned into garbage and they've been chasing Call of Duty ever since. I know that Halo, you know, was force-fed and slammed into esports and it failed. And, you know, this stuff repeats itself again, as you can see in Call of Duty. So now you're seeing the history repeating itself in a Call of Duty way that Battlefield had tried. You know, you've completely changed who you are, and now all you're doing is slapping the Battlefield name on every game that comes out. I mean, look at the disaster that Hardline is. I mean, that game was leaked out weeks before E3. It didn't even trend. Nobody liked it. And then when the hardcore fans got a hold of it, and you slap a Battlefield name on it, and the game is just an expansion pack, but a police shooter. I mean, it's a disaster. So you look at Call of Duty and you say, okay, it has the Call of Duty controllers, it has the Call of Duty controls, you know, the movement, the analog and everything, and it moves in your hand, everything's just like Call of Duty. And then you have a different gaming philosophy. And the gaming philosophy isn't a military shooter, it is a advanced mech person type game. It's basically Titanfall, but instead of what Titanfall is that instead of going from, you know, a pilot to a mech suit, you're all of that. They basically combined those two guys into one. They're like, how could we make Titan? I mean, I guess, how could we make in a game like Titanfall? And this people tell me, oh, Titanfall came out before Sledgehammer was in production, da da da. Listen, this industry is loose lips sink ships. All these guys talk to each other. Hey, what you working on? Oh, we're working on this game. It's kind of like this. And you know, that's what they do. They tell each other. I mean, as weird as it sounds, these guys are that close. They sit there and spill the beans and emails, and they leak out stuff, and then the story I mean, one leak turns into a flood, and then the story is out, and then all of a sudden they're like, how could we copy this game before it even comes out? That's what's going on here. I'm not saying it's completely, but I think that, you know, Call of Duty is synonymous with taking parts of a bunch of games and trying to make it their own. That's what they do. And I think what they did was they took the Titanfall game and they just squished it together, which is fine. I don't mind that. But it's like you're going away from the total principle and philosophy of what Call of Duty is. It's like you're just going away from it completely. Now here's the problem in what I foresee being an issue. And we're going to see it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's really going on. It's I want to cover it. I might cover it in the next video at Fist 2. Check out the link below. So if I don't finish, we're going to go there. But if you follow this train of thought, if you sit here and close your eyes and think about it, you're a hardcore fan. I was a hardcore fan. A lot of my friends were hardcore fans. And what I mean by this is that we bought every Call of Duty game with unconditionally. We didn't even think about, okay, you know, people would sit there and bash it. Oh, it's the same thing. We're not going to buy it. Da, da, da. We're leaving. And people would leave. But the hardcore fans would always sit there and buy the game no matter what. We'd buy the game. But now, after this last Call of Duty, and there wasn't that much fun, and it seems like there's more studios, so there's less listening to the people who are actually buying the game, that every game that's coming out now is like this tribal focused, we want you to invest all your time into our game. So that is the catch-22, and that's why you're not going to leave Destiny, and you're not going to leave Titanfall, and like everybody's getting away from this. Hey, why don't we just make a game that everybody can pick up and play, and that's it. And it's a military shooter or a first-person shooter or whatever. It's not like that anymore. Now you're into this game where this curve is crazy. You have to invest all this sweat equity time into a game, and if everybody doesn't play it, then you've just wasted all your time on this game. And you can't be good on a bunch of other games. You can only be good, and they're forcing you, especially when they got this format where you got to pay $70 and then you got to buy DLC. They want you to make a time commitment to their game. And that's not the way gaming is going. Cliffy B, a bunch of other people are going free to play games. And I'm going to tell you, if this game is a failure and people start talking bad about Call of Duty, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a beta coming out and they're going to try to save the game. And Black Ops 3 is going to wind up being a free to play game. But I'm going to go further into conversation on this on my Fist 2 videos. You don't want to miss it. Go over there, check it out, and we'll continue it. Until next time, it's your boy Fist. Peace! I'm out.